Three, two, one. Okay, welcome everyone. Today we're going to continue solving uh, example that we made yesterday. Remember, we're supposed to study the lessons on how we're supposed to writing linear equations. Remember, there's a few many ways how we're supposed to write linear equations. One of them is the slope intercept form that we provided by the following formula. Y equals mx plus b. This is the slope from y-intercept form, where m represents the slope of the line and b represents the y-intercept. So basically, in this equation, the problem mentioned, we're supposed to write this equation in this form, passes to the point 1/2, comma 5/3, and that's supposed to be perpendicular to the line 1/2 x plus y minus 6 equals 0. What we supposed to have to do? All right. First of all, because we don't know what is the slope of the new line, the first thing we must do is rewrite that given equation in general form must be written into into the y-intercept form. Simply words, we must solve for y the second equation. Basically, we're going to copy the equation given by 1/2 x plus y minus 6 equals 0. And let's going to solve for y. Y will be equal to 1/2 is positive, passes to be negative 1/2 x. And 6, because it's negative, passes to be positive. So in this situation, we have the first equation written in slope intercept form. Now, what are the principal elements that we're supposed to identify this thing? Well, first of all, the value from the slope of the line. Number 1, that will be given by negative 1/2 units. Now, to try to find the equation of the second line, we're supposed to try to find out what will be the value of their slope, okay? And because the problem mentioned that is perpendicular to the line, remember the product of their slope gave us the reciprocal. Simple barely words, m1 times n2, that will be equal to -1. And we can replace by the value for m1, that will be -1/2, and m2 is an unknown variable. That will be equals -1. -1/2, it's multiplying, passes to divide, right? So m2, that will be equal to -1 over -1/2. So the second value from the slope of the line will be 2 units, because negative times negative is positive, and at the same time, what divided by 1/2, that will be 2 units. Now it's time to write the equation in that slope intercept form. But basically, it doesn't matter what kind of formula or what kind of way the problem asking for writing the linear equation. The standard formula that we must use before to write the equation is the point slope form. I mean, that general equation we're talking about by this formula. Y minus y sub 0 equals m parentheses x minus x sub 0. Okay, this is the formula for point slope form. Now we must replace the value from this second slope of the line, and also using the fractions. Simple barely words, y minus. Instead to write y sub 0, that will be 5/3. Excellent. Equals. The value of the slope is 2 units. 2 units. Parentheses. X minus 1/2. Onto this part, it could be the point slope form. But remember the problem asking for right equation, the slope intercept form. What does that mean? We have to apply the stability property in this equation and obviously solve for y. I mean, y minus 5/3 equals 2x minus 1. Because 2 times x, 2x, 2 times negative 1 will, negative 1/2 will be negative 1. And y, that will be equal to 2x minus 1 plus 5/3. So the answer will be 2x plus 2/3, right? Or 2/3. And that's it. We have the first part of the problem. Actually, we have done with the problem, okay? But if you really want to prove, is this correct? Is this right or not? You can check this answer by means of the graph. Remember to graph both equations of the line, okay? We can use two techniques. One of them, we can use the table values, okay? Remember the input values belongs to the letter X, the output values belongs to the Y-axis, called domain in X and range in Y. Or if you wish, if you really want to create a quickly graph, we can use in the X and Y intercepts. So let's going to do it. To determine the X intercept, okay, I'm going to copy the green one equation. Once again, I'm going to use this black marker. Y equals 2x plus 2/3. Remember, x-intercept means the graph will touches the x-axis. And simply words, we must replace y by 0 units. Okay, you're right. Y that was supposed to be 0. 2x plus 2/3, right? Because 2/3 is adding, passes to subtracting, equals 2x. And because this number 2 is multiplying, passes to divide. And if you divide negative 2/3 divided by 2 will be negative 1/3. Okay? So basically, the first answer will be given by negative 1/3 equals x. I mean, negative 1/3, comma, 0. So you're wrong. Remember, 2/10 is adding, passes to subtracting them. You made a mistake then. Yes? Now, let's going to check with the y-intercept. We're using the second equation. Y-intercept. The y-intercept, remember, I'm going to copy once again the same equation. Y equals 2x plus 2/3. And this time, the y-intercept means the graph will touches the y-axis. What does that mean? We must replace x by 0, okay? So y equals 2 times 0 plus 2/3. So the answer will be 2/3, okay? So the y-intercept will be given by 0 with 2/3, okay? We have that. It's the same. You can use decimal or fractions. Now, let's going to calculate the x and y intercepts for the first equation. Okay, because to prove it, we must graph both equations in one single accordion plane, and they're supposed to have intersection point, like at the shape of the letter T, and provide us a right angle. Okay, so let's label once again the x-intercept. X-intercept. I didn't bring my rule. Oh, okay. All right, let's copy the first equation. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 6. Change the y variable by 0. Negative 1/2 x plus 6. This is subtracting, passes to adding. And because this number 2 is divided, passes to multiplying. So we can conclude x will be equal 12. Right? Right? So the first intercept will be 12, comma, 0, the x-intercept. Understood until this part? Questions? Say it again. And you got to solve ground. Remember, you must replace in the first equation y by 0 because we're looking for the x-intercept, the blue one equation. Now, repeat the process using the y-intercept, y-intercept, and the y-intercept again. Copy the equation, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 6. Replace x by 0. And the answer will be 6 units, right? So the y-intercept will be provided by 0, comma 6. Now we are fully prepared to sketch the graph. Let's see what we got. This is the coordinate plane. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 units. X. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 units. -2, -6, oh, sorry, -4, -6, -8, -10, -12, -x. -2, -4, -6, -8, -10, -12. This is -y. And finally, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 units, positive y-axis. We have the complete coordinate plane. Now let's going to grab the intercepts. Well, you can write, if you wish, the blue equation first, the blue one, 12 with 0, that will be located over here, right? And the second one is 0, 6, right? We had the 2 points. Well, that's going to connect both lines. Basically, it doesn't matter, it overpasses the 2 points. Remember, a line can be divided at least with 2 points, okay? So this is the line given by the equation y equals negative 1/2 x plus 6. And this makes sense. Why? Because what kind of slope do we have when the line has this behavior? What will be positive, negative? That will be negative, right? And if you check the answer from the first equation, we established that slope number 1 as a value of negative 1/2. That's why that makes sense. The graph they still have this behavior. Okay. Now let's go to graph the second one. Well, I'm using blue one. I'm going to use the orange one. Okay, the orange one. In the orange one, we have negative 1/3. What does that mean? Negative 1/3. Negative 1/3 means 0.333 right now. Please give me a hand with the calculator. Negative 1 divided by 3. Negative 1 divided by 3. Please give me a hand with the calculator. Negative 1 divided by 3. 0.5. Negative 1 divided by 3. 333 and so on, right? Okay. Well, let's go to approaches. Negative 0.3333. We can approach this over here. This is approximation. Approximation. All right. Uh, mhm. Yeah. Because if you divide negative 1 divided by 3, will be negative 0.33333. By the other hand, if we divide 2 divided by 3, 6. Okay. Approaches. Over here. Remember, we are giving approaches. Okay. Now, because we have the 2 lines or the 2 points that are going to connect, it doesn't matter. It overpasses the line. It doesn't matter. It overpasses the line. We have an intersection point between them. Remember, this line belongs to the equation y equals 2x plus 2 term. Okay. And if you see, we have that intersection point, and it has shape of the behavior from the letter T, right? So basically, because this is the behavior, we can see that the orange line will be perpendicular to the blue line, and this is how we're going to check the answer. Questions? Well, you can copy that already. Let me know when you're finished. I'm just checking the main reason why it doesn't have the highest quality, because the computer is installing that software of the Razer Key UX. That's why it's taking so long. I explained it yesterday. I told you yesterday, you suppose you can graph using the floating points or X and Y intercept. Simple. But basically you got the idea. May I erase the whiteboard or not yet? Okay, let me know when you're finished, guys. But yeah, I think you can see it clearly. I don't know if anyone wants to take a look. Oh, here. ¿Alguien le quiere ver acá? Por acá, por acá, por acá. Por acá sí. Creo que se mira claro, ¿no? ¿O no? Pero no se ponga enfrente de la cámara, niña, por aquí. Ahí está, se mira, pues, a pesar de que está un poquito largo, pero creo que se lee. Ahí está, mira. Ahí lo van a ver, se los voy a mandar este video hoy. Obviamente sin ediciones, ¿verdad? Pero estamos haciendo pruebas. Pero bueno, se lee. El detalle es que se lee. Y eso que no estaba tan centradito, pero ¿se mira o no se mira? Ahora que le dan porrazo, la cámara se desenfoca, ¿verdad? Zaira, está consciente que va a salir usted en YouTube, ¿verdad? ¿Cuál que salga? Diga, si lo, yo lo miro bien, no sé si ustedes lo miran en la gráfica. ¿Miran bien la gráfica? Yo lo miro bien, ya veo. Hoy sí, pueden tomar asiento. Pueden tomar. No, pues sí, explíquenme. Okay, may I erase the whiteboard right now? Ah, now, we must perform another example. Ya me estoy con el agua. Ahora sí puedo borrar. Unfortunately, I cannot use the second whiteboard if I really want to record in the class. Okay, let's continue with another example. This is going to be the example number 2. Find the equation of a line that passes through the point 0,2 and it's parallel. Another example. To the points 3,1 and 2,5. Okay. In this situation, they're asking for find equation of the line that passes through the point 0,2 and it's parallel to the points 3,1 and 2,5. If you see, the problem never says in which way would you like to write the equation on the line. When that's happened, you are free to do it, to write equation, whatever you want, okay? So the most important thing in this situation is because the problem mentioned the line that will be parallel. Parallel. So parallel lines are the lines who have the same measure, the same direction, and obviously the same slope. In simplementary words, the slope number 1 that will be equal to the slope number 2. Okay, so the first step, what we're going to do, we have one singular point, but basically we don't have what will be the value for the second slope of the line or the first one, because the problem mentioned the line passes with that point 0,2 and says it's parallel to the points 3,1 and 2,5. So the first step basically will be calculate the slope of the first line. All right. So remember, the formula for the slope of the line will be given by m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We could call this one like a m1 if you wish. So y1 will be, y2 will be 5 minus 1 over 3, 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3. Again, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So the first slope m1 equals 4 over -1. So the first slope of the line that will be equal to -4. Remember the concept. It's parallel to these points. What does that mean? That means M1 that will be equal M2 because it's parallel. For that reason, before to calculate the equation of a line, we can conclude M1 equals M2. So the slope number 2 also, we have a value of -4 units. Okay, because is the this line are these two lines are parallel. Now it's time to calculate the equation of the line. Remember, what is the formula for the equation of the line? It's simple. Equation of the line, we must use the point slope form given by the formula y1 minus y sub 0 equals m parentheses x minus x sub 0. Who's going to be x sub 0, y sub 0, and m? Obviously, x sub 0 and y sub 0 will be the first point because this is the equation that we are looking for. Okay, that given point, 0, 2. And the slope obviously will be -4, the same slope that the blue one because the lines are parallel. So it's going to replace them. Y minus 2 equals m -4 parentheses x minus x sub 0. That will be 0. Until this far, this equation represents the point slope form. Exactly. Now, because it will, yeah, point slope form. Now, if you really want to solve for y and we apply the distributive property, y will be equals to -4x plus 2. This equation of the line is given by the form. Okay, this equation will be given by the slope intercept form. This is the second model. The another model, if I ask you, write the equation in notation of function, the only thing that you have to do is replace y by f dx. F dx means the notation of function. If you see, if the same equation than the slope intercept form, but only changing y by f dx, we got the notation of function. All right. And finally, if you really want to create the equation in the, how to say that, in the general form, it's simple. We got the equation y equals -4x plus 2. These two elements must be moving to the left side and equal the equation to 0 to obtain the notation of function. That's explained you already. To write this equation, notation of function, just change y by f dx. That's simple. Now, in the general form, we must solve for 0. How we can do that? These two elements move to the left side. 4x is subtracting, passes to adding. 4x. Y still, they still have the same value, positive value. And this number 2, because it's adding, passes to subtracting. 4x plus y minus 2 equals 0. When we have this equation, we can determine this reading by the general form. Obviously, if I giving you this kind of problems in the quiz in the bimester exam, give an example, right? And if I said write equation on the line, you can choose one of these models because I'm not specifying what kind of model you're supposed to use, right? But in this case, I'm using the 4 models because this will be a little bit illustration, a little bit more illustrated, the example, than the theoretical part that you have, okay? Obviously, if I ask you, get the graph, everybody knows to get the graph, the equation must be written in slope integer form, right? And to get the graph, you can use 2 ways, the table values, the plotting points, or the x and y intercept, okay? So, do you have any questions? No? Now, if you really want to check this answer, it's simple. Create the equation with another line, all right? And when you have the 2 equations, graph both lines in the same coordinate plane, and you're gonna see the 2 parallel lines, okay? Okay, guys, thank you so much for your attendance. Have a great, wonderful day, and see you tomorrow if God wills. Take care of yourself.